Bonsoir à tous. How are you doing today? It is Thursday today. I hope you're doing great. We're going to keep reading the tales, not the fairy tales, by Patrick Beau. I have my son here with me, so I hope he doesn't make too much noise. And we are going to read this one first. And yeah, I wanted to show you something that I found online today. Is this this drawing by the New Yorker about setting reasonable goals during a crisis. So you can obviously understand what's happening. And I wanted to remind you that French learning has to be something fun on the side, and you do not pressure yourself into learning or trying to improve your pronunciation in order to become fluent just during the crisis, because it's a lot, you're handling lots of things, so please take care of yourself and use French if you want to improve your French, just as a fun thing to keep your mind occupied and for fun without any pressure, please. Today we are going to talk about Bastille Day and animals. Let's read the first tale together. Breathe in, breathe out. 1, 2, and 3. Sa pire crainte était d'être enterré vivant. Pour se rassurer, il fit installer des fusées de détresse sur sa future tombe. Bien lui en prit, car comme redouté, il se réveilla un jour dans son cercueil. Il n'avait simplement pas prévu qu'il serait enterré un 14 juillet. Some of you caught the plot already. Some of you didn't. This is why it's so funny to read the full tale and then explain, and then have students realize towards the end, oh, I get it now. This is very, very good. And also, I wanted to say something about reading. You see how you could just read something like that if you are just learning this on your own and not learning from it because you don't understand the vocabulary or the context or the examples or why it's written this way. So when you want to learn, having someone to explain something to you is key. Otherwise, it's just reading, and reading is great, it's fantastic, but don't concentrate. Don't think that reading French is going to help you improve your French. It's going to improve activate your brain to think about the vocabulary, but don't use it as a way to learn new vocabulary because it's way too difficult. I'm not saying that you need me all the time, but just that it is way too difficult for your brain to do everything at once. So if you're reading French, just enjoy the plot, understand what's happening, and the story, but don't use this as a way to improve your French because it is way too difficult for a learner to learn from only reading. Sa pire crainte était d'être enterré vivant. Sa pire crainte. Pire, it is worse. Worst. And it is plus grande actually because it is his biggest. His worst is his biggest here. And crainte, it is the fear. We say la crainte, it is fear. Une crainte. You can say la peur as well. It works. I'll put it here. La peur. Sa pire crainte était d'être enterré vivant. It was to be, can you guess? Buried alive. Enterré is buried. Enterré, it is to bury. Et vivant is alive. So enterré vivant is to be buried alive. I had prepared an example here for pire. Sa pire crainte était d'être enterré vivant. But pire something can also be someone. For example, just for a bit of French culture, le pire ennemi de Fantomas est le commissaire Juve. Do you know Fantomas? He's a baddie from French books, the origin, and it became movies in the 60s with Louis de Funès. So check him out. Most of the Louis de Funès movies are worth watching, not only because they're funny, but also because everybody knows them. And Fantomas is one of his big movies, where I think he is the commissaire Juif. I'm not an expert in Fantomas because Fantomas scares me. Yeah, I'm 35 very soon. And yeah, I'm still scared of Fantomas, so I'm not going to watch those because too scary. Sa pire crainte était d'être enterré vivant. Here we don't have any liaison. No, I don't see any. And now you are experts in liaison because you watched my lesson about it. Let's read this one together. Ready? Okay, let's go. Pour se rassurer, il fit installer des fusées de détresse sur sa future tombe. Pour se rassurer, il fit installer des fusées de détresse sur sa future tombe. He's fine. He's just playing with a book he's not allowed to touch. But I cannot reach him, so it's okay. À tout à l'heure. His dad took him. Pour se rassurer, in order to reassure himself. Se rassurer is to reassure. For example, rassure-toi. No, let's make something much more funny. Rassure-moi, tu n'as pas oublié de nourrir ma migale, n'est-ce pas? Is migale the same in English? Tarantula. So reassure me, you haven't forgotten to feed my tarantula, haven't you? Isn't it? Isn't it? So se rassurer is to reassure. And you can reassure someone else or you can ask someone to reassure you. Then we have il fit installer. So installer, it is to install. This is pretty okay. And here, for those who watched the tale about Sleeping Beauty, La Belle au Bois dormant, you might remember that the king made people do something for him. It was all about faire. I think it was installing walls and installing the princess in the bed and having people make announcements. It was all that. So the king was not doing things, it was people doing stuff for him. And here it is faire installer. So it wasn't him, it was someone else who did it. And you can use two verbs like that in many ways. And in this case, you will only conjugate the first one. For example, entendre dire. It is something that you can remember. It means to hear it say. Yeah, like a rumor or any kind of news. For example, j'ai entendu dire que la voisine avait un crocodile vivant dans son jardin. I heard say that the neighbor had a crocodile alive in her garden. This is entendre dire, and you can see that I only conjugated entendre. I did not conjugate dire. It is the same with faire as well, to have someone do. It is the extreme of faire something. J'ai fait faire toute ma salle de bain en marbre. Ça m'a coûté un rein. And coûter un rein is an expression. Coûter un bras works as well. It cost me an arm and a leg. And coûter un rein is the same. It's just instead of costing an arm, it's costing a kidney. You can say ça m'a coûté un bras. Un œil. La peau des fesses. Again, this is something that you can use. La peau du dos. We always have lots of expressions to mean lots of money. Money is a very interesting thing to learn slang. Here it cost me a kidney, an arm, an eye, the skin from my bottom or the skin from my back. These are absolutely fine expressions to say it costs me a lot of money. I made all my bathroom in marble. It cost me a lot of money. And oh yes, and one thing about faire, it is, you know what un faire part is? Something, it is an announcement, but not as in, hey, something is happening. It is a paper. Now you can do email for weddings, funerals, birth, christening, and all that. So it is the paper, like a card that you send in order to announce a wedding, a funeral, birth, christening. Even sometimes you could say, can you say a birthday? No. This would be une invitation. This is more for weddings, funerals, birth, christening, something that is really, really, really a big life event. This is un faire part. Now you can do that by email, but usually when you want to announce such a big thing, you're going to put the date, the place, and send it in paper to someone. This is un faire part. What did he install? Des fusées. Une fusée is a rocket. Une fusée. I would love to take more pronunciation classes. Definitely should. Une fusée is a rocket de détresse. Une fusée de détresse is something that I didn't know how it was called, and it is a distress flare. Here in the story, we might assume that he's doing too much. Sur sa future tombe, and une tombe is a tomb, a grave. Une tombe is a grave. Is a grave. I hope you can follow up. You follow along on the vocabulary because I'm giving you loads today. And about tombe, something that all this story reminded me is d'outre-tombe or l'outre-tombe. L'outre-tombe. Do you know what this is? If you think about how it's built, you might know that. It is from beyond the grave. For example, we say des voix d'outre-tombe. This is very tricky. I'm thinking how to write something good for you. And also you cannot hear, but the neighbor upstairs is playing such a beautiful piece of music on her piano that I just want to stop and listen. We would say des voix d'outre-tombe. Voices from beyond the grave. This would be in a poetry or in a book, or just to say that these are the voices from reaching you from beyond the grave. Exactly in the same way that you would use in English. Let's read this one together again. Pour se rassurer, il fit installer des fusées de détresse sur sa future tombe, on his future grave. Bien lui en prit, car comme redouté, il se réveilla un jour dans son cercueil. Il n'avait simplement pas prévu qu'il serait enterré un 14 juillet. I'm checking the liaison. Serait enterré. Let's read the first one together. Bien lui en prit, car, comme redouté, il se réveilla un jour dans son cercueil. Bien lui en prit, it was the right move to do. Bien lui en prit. It means good for him, actually. It means good for him. It was the right move to make, to do. You will figure this out. But bien lui en prit, it means good. It took him good or good took him, literally. But it is the right thing to do. This is a bit tricky to understand, so don't try to concentrate too much on that. Bien lui en prit. You can Google it. It's in World Reference as well. But think more about good for him. It was a good thing that he did. Bien lui en prit. And this is something that you say when someone takes a decision and actually you find out later that it was a good thing. Bien lui en prit. Car comme redouté, redouter is to be afraid of something, to fear, to dread. Redouter, it is to fear, to dread. Redouter. Il se réveilla, he woke up one day. Se réveiller is to wake up dans son cercueil. And here, because of what's happening, you can understand what un cercueil is. I assume it is a casket or a coffin, depending on where you're from. Il n'avait simplement pas prévu qu'il serait enterré un 14 juillet. He just had not planned. Prévoir, it is to plan. To plan. Il n'avait simplement, he simply had not planned that he would be buried on Bastille Day. Le 14 juillet, it is Bastille Day, but Bastille Day is not le jour de la Bastille. I've said that in my Bastille Day lesson for 8 years. We do not translate Bastille Day into le jour de la Bastille. It is just le 14 juillet. That's it. We call it this way. We call it le 14 juillet. We don't say le jour de la Bastille. And we do not wish anything on this day. So do not wish, have a good Bastille Day. Well, it works in English because the English is different. But do not wish un bon jour de la Bastille. No, this does not work in French at all. Neither does bon 14 juillet. As in a wish, it means enjoy the day, like bon dimanche, it works, but it's not like Merry Christmas, okay? It is more here, the day off is implied. It is not this is a special day because you're going to do something different. It's a day off and people are going to have a picnic or go on holiday. Let's reread the full tale and then translate it. So I'm sure you understand the twist. Sa pire crainte était d'être enterré vivant. His worst fear was to be buried alive. Pour se rassurer, il fit installer des fusées de détresse sur sa future tombe. To reassure himself, he got installed distress flares on his future grave. Here, the idea is that he's afraid to be buried alive, so he wants to be able to signal that he's alive if he happens to be buried alive. So to start, the distress flares from his casket in case he is alive in his casket. Bien lui en prit. Good for him. He took a good decision. Car, comme redouté, il se réveilla un jour dans son cercueil. Because as he feared, he woke up one day in his casket. So this shows that he was right. Il n'avait simplement pas prévu qu'il serait enterré un 14 juillet. He simply had not planned that he would be buried on Bastille Day. Why is this a twist? Because he wanted to start distress flares to signal that he was awake in his casket. However, because he was buried on July the 14th, and July the 14th is Bastille Day, there are rockets and fireworks everywhere. So he's not going to be heard. This is the twist, is that he was right, he was buried alive, he put everything in place to tell people that I'm alive, pick me up, but he got buried on the 14th of July. He woke up on this day and no one heard his distress flares because they were buried in the noise of the fireworks. Have a lovely night after that. Comédie Française, provider of nightmares since the beginning of the confinement. Let's read this one together. This one is a bit scary as well, but it's just something that we could remember for other crises. Quand les humains arrivèrent sur l'île, les oiseaux tinrent un conseil de crise. Nos frères et sœurs du continent nous ont mis en garde contre ces bipèdes. Il faut s'en méfier. Nous avons déjà connu pire menace, répondit le plus gros. Il ne nous arrivera rien, foi de dodo. Be aware of people telling you to take care and in crisis. Yes, yes, yes. Quand les humains arrivèrent sur l'île, when the humans arrived on the island, les oiseaux tinrent un conseil de guerre. What is this verb? Tinrent is tenir au, and you know what this is? Passé simple, of course, because this is the tense of writing stories. Les oiseaux tinrent un conseil de guerre, and here we have une liaison. And here we have une liaison, because it is as if the H didn't exist. Here, tenir, it is to hold. Un conseil de crise, it is a crisis council. And usually, conseil de crise is awkward. I would say conseil de guerre. A war council. No, council of war. Maybe there's a difference. Council of war. So here it is crisis instead of war, but I would say conseil de guerre instead. Un conseil de crise. Let's read these two sentences together. Nos frères et sœurs du continent nous ont mis en garde contre ces bipèdes. Il faut s'en méfier. Here we have une liaison. Nos frères et sœurs du continent nous ont mis en garde contre ces bipèdes. Il faut s'en méfier. Nos frères et sœurs, our brothers and sisters du continent, of the continent, nous ont mis en garde. Nous ont mis en garde. Mettre en garde. Do you know what this is? Mettre en garde. To put in guard? No. It is to warn. Our brothers and sisters of the continent warned us. Against what? Contre ces bipèdes. Against or about those two-legged animals. Un bipède is an animal that works on 2 feet. And there is a dash here. Two-legged animal. Contre ces bipèdes. Il faut s'en méfier. Se méfier, it is to be suspicious. To be suspicious. And here, the en is what? It is les bipèdes. Okay? Il faut se méfier de ces bipèdes. Here you could say, il faut se méfier de ces bipèdes. Il faut se méfier de ces bipèdes, but he put sans, in order to not repeat ces bipèdes. Let's read the sentence again. Nos frères et sœurs du continent nous ont mis en garde contre ces bipèdes. Il faut s'en méfier. Okay, good. Should we do it? Let's read this together. Nous avons déjà connu pire menace, répondit le plus gros. Il ne nous arrivera rien, foi de dodo. So if you feel like this is something that is very close to what's happening, it kind of is. Nous avons déjà connu pire menace. We already met or knew a worse threat. Pire is what we saw above. Une menace, it is a threat. Une menace. Nous avons déjà connu pire menace. Here, this writing of pire menace is a bit literary and elegant on purpose, because this is a war council and you can imagine the wise animals talking and deciding something. So here, the biggest animal is sounding wise. Nous avons déjà connu pire menace. This structure is very elegant French. Nous avons déjà connu pire menace. Répondit le plus gros. Answered the biggest. And here, le plus gros, it is implied that it is un oiseau. Okay? Un oiseau, because le plus gros is the biggest, and something is missing here. It could be le plus gros oiseau. But we know that they're birds, because it was 2 lines above. Il ne nous arrivera rien. Nothing will happen to us. Foi de dodo. Here it is extremely difficult to translate that. It means dodo faith. But foi de, this structure, is trust me. Trust the dodo. And it should be dodo faith, but it doesn't mean anything. But foi de quelque chose, it works. For example, arrêtez d'utiliser, non, d'apprendre. Non, I have to put something that is an affirmation. Le passé simple ne sert à rien pour parler français. Foi de Géraldine. Here, the passé simple is useless. It doesn't serve anything to speak French. Foi de Géraldine. So here, trust me, I'm Géraldine, or trust Géraldine. It is impossible to translate directly. So you can check out on Google other examples and you will see other sentences. But it is about trust me, or dodos know best. You have this idea of dodos know best. You have the idea of instinct of knowledge of trust me. And for those who don't know, le dodo is a bird that used to exist before and was completely killed by humans who ate him and hunted him. So we're going to reread that and are going to explain the full tale. Quand les humains arrivèrent sur l'île, les oiseaux tinrent un conseil de crise. When the humans arrived on the island, the birds hold a council of war or crisis. Nos frères et sœurs du continent nous ont mis en garde contre ces bipèdes, il faut s'en méfier. Our brothers and sisters from the continent warned us about these 2-legged animals. We have to be suspicious, we have to be careful. Nous avons déjà connu pire menace, répondit le plus gros. Il ne nous arrivera rien fois de dodo. We've already met worst threats. Answer the biggest. So here, the biggest bird, whom we assume is the wisest, or is the less threatened one because he's really big, he could escape or fight, says that they already had worse threat and they should not be afraid of that. Il ne nous arrivera rien. Nothing will happen to us. Trust me, I'm a dodo. So here the twist is that actually the dodo should have been more careful because the humans killed all the dodos on Earth and there isn't any left. That's it for today. Two very uplifting tales for today. Tomorrow it will be funny, a funny tale about the laws of gravity and a mystery for, I think, even advanced students that I'm very, very looking forward to reading to you because I want to know if anyone understands the twist on the first reading. And then obviously I will explain everything. Have a lovely evening, bonne soirée, bonne journée, maybe bonne nuit. It's wonderful to be with you each day. And I will see you tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. Paris time. Allez, salut!